Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet again another boring installment of Revolutions. You probably see this appear in your feed and go, "Oh, not again." But yes, here I am. I'm going to show you the records I've been playing recently. I'm on holidays at the moment, so I've got lots of time to play records and digest them, appreciate them. And I'm working on different types of video series at the moment. Something different. So stay tuned, obviously. Um, and I was thinking of maybe reintroducing a live stream here and there. I used to do them during lockdown, and but I'm one of these people who complain there are too many live stream. There are too many live streams in the vinyl community, and I want to bring some more. But I'm not sure my audience is the live stream type. Let me know in the comment section. You can tell me what you feel. You know how disparaging or excellent you think this all is. A couple of days ago, I went for a drive with my partner. We went to a beachside suburb of Melbourne, and there were a couple of op shops, thrift stores. We call them op shops here. With some really good classical music. So I picked up a couple of things here. Starting with, so I've had this for 3 days maybe, and I've played it a couple of times. It's a piece I know very, very well. It's Bolero by Ravel, conducted by Eugene Ormandy in the Philadelphia Orchestra. This is an interesting series on Columbia called Odyssey. It's like a sub label or sub series. Sounds really, really good. Bolero was composed by Ravel on the demand of Ida Rubinstein, a very famous Russian ballet dancer who wanted an original piece to dance to. And Ravel wasn't very keen on doing this, but in the end produced a Spanish influenced piece of repetitive music, which to me is the granddaddy of minimal music, really. Like when you hear Bolero, 17 minutes of just repetitive patterns, you get the impression that this is what predates people like Steve Reich or even Aphex Twin, with these slight modulations every time the cycle comes back up. It's really fantastic. I love Bolero. That's why I picked it up. I've got several versions of these, and it's got two extra tracks, pieces, Tombeau de Couperin and Alborada del Gracioso, which are less famous, obviously, but this is a beautiful piece. I picked that up and I played it a couple of times already. And I picked this up as well. Zubin Mehta, the great Indian conductor. What's particular about Zubin Mehta is Indian but conducts Western classical music. Obviously, and is very renowned, as such. I mean, when I see Stravinsky and Zubin Mehta together and the New York Philharmonic together on Columbia Masterworks in pristine condition, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get it. This is a fantastic piece. I mean, Rite of Spring is kind of like one of these, again, like Bolero, it's one of these kind of great, all-encompassing, modern classical works. Like there's a handful of those that are just define everything in the 20th century, and this is one of them. So again, a fantastic version. Stravinsky, everybody should get into Stravinsky. It's very cerebral music, but at the same time, when you sort of get the mindset of the man, it's genius, absolute genius. Another genius, in my opinion, is the great Anthony Dvorak, and this I revisited. It's a beautiful string quartet, very spirited, very moody. In the way that this kind of Eastern European kind of gloom that they, like you listen to string quartet by Schubert, they're often kind of like light and airy, and you listen to string quartet by Bartok or Dvorak as it should be. You get this sense of impending doom. Beautiful string quartet. Also revisited this absolutely fabulous duet of piano and cello, which my two favorite classical instruments there. Miroslav Rostropovich, one of the absolute masters of the cello, maybe the greatest cellist ever. Who knows? I mean, you know, I'm not qualified to talk about this. But these are two Brahms, and again, I love Brahms. I think, you know, I think when I think of like high grade classical music, I think of Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms straight away. I think so. These are sonatas, very delicate, very different to the Dvorak, very light and a lot more romantic sounding. Beautiful. I revisited this, and this, which very little known Polish composer Karol Szymanowski, who died in 1937. Just to give you a bit of a sort of a time idea, because he's not very well known at all. And these are his violin concerto 1 and 2. These again are really sort of heavy and really ominous sounding, those two violin concertos. This is on World Record Club, which I've spoken about before, just a label which released a whole ton of really amazing classical. I think I will do a feature on the World Record Club, but this is an excellent combo of two. And the last classical piece I'm going to show you is a more modern one. It's the Anya Rani and Dobrava Chosher, I think it's the name. So it's a duet of piano and cello. Is that right? Yeah, cello. Dobrava Chosher plays cello and also piano, voice, synth. Sorry, what am I saying? Cello is Dobrava Chosher and piano, voice, synth, and celeste is Anya Rani, obviously. I saw Anya Rani live at the Melbourne Recital Centre a few months ago. Yeah, she was brilliant. However, it was Friday night, and the music was very lullaby-esque, if you know what I mean. It was sometimes it's hard to keep focusing. This is a beautiful record. I would highly recommend. Okay, I'm gonna move on to other things than classical. Here is an interesting little record on Drag City. This is Sir Richard Bishop. You could sort of make that out there, and the album is called Tangier Sessions. It's on Drag City, as I said. Here you go. Drag City Incorporated. Now, this guy is a guitarist, much in the vein of sort of American primitive guitar, very inventive, very plays on with lots of different, very interesting scales. And in this case, obviously, Tangier is Moroccan, so he plays with Arabic, Moroccan Arabic scales. And it's very bewitching music. It's very hypnotic. It's not immediately kind of like in your face brilliant. It takes a few plays to actually get into what he's trying to do. But it was recorded in Tangier in Morocco in 2014 and released by Drag City in 2015. I mean, this is by no means an essential piece. It's just a really nice little record. Here is a fantastic Japanese psych record that I've been playing quite a bit recently. Kigayu Moyo, which is a band who is made of these people there. So this is there's a lovely hype sticker there. House in the Tall Grass, face melting dreamy psychedelia from Japan, best suited for skiing, chilling, sleeping, and cloud watching. So this is a Japanese psych record, which I really really like. I mean, it's I particularly recommend listening to side B. Side A is a bit more heavy going. Side B gets into a more acoustic kind of gentle kind of psychedelia, and it's very pastoral. I just really really like this record. I don't know, I'm not talking about it very well, but you know, at least I've made you aware of it if you didn't know about it, and you can go and stream it. That's possibly what we do this for. Right, continuing. Last week I was talking about Via Lactea with George Reyes, and this week I revisited this fine LP, sort of new agey, ambient, progressive electronic type of fare with Antonio Zepeda, and the title is there. I'm not going to launch to pronounce it. You can actually read it yourself. This is an LP from 1986 featuring a whole range of very bizarre and not pronounceable South American instruments. But I can tell you that George Reyes plays guitar, flute, ocarina, musical tube, lots of synth from a Korg Poly 800, a Roland MSQ 700, lots and lots of different synth to get a sort of like a bouillabaisse of excellent new agey relaxing sounds. 1986, great record. If you want to get into some kind of like South American or Central American ambient electronic music, this is a good. I mean, it's not really that obscure in the scheme of things, but it's still quite a good record. I revisited also. I was talking about minimalism just before with Ravel, and I revisited this beautiful promo copy of Shri Camel by Terry Riley. I'm reading a book at the moment, and I'm going to make a video out of it. And there's a chapter where, in the book, Terry Riley is spoken about quite a bit, and that made me pull this out to play. I hadn't played for a while. This is a fabulous record. Like, the organ playing is celestial on this. It's kind of, it's hypnotic, it's trance inducing. You listen to this and you feel like you've gone into the, I mean, it's a fabulous record. I think James Battery made a Diggs video, and he picked up a copy of this in wherever, San Francisco, wherever he was. And I don't think he's absorbed it quite as much as he could have. I think it's one of Terry's best, really. It's up there. Fantastic album from 1980, I think. And the book I'm reading, again, has entire chapters devoted to Coltrane. Well, there's a bit on Coltrane. And this is my favorite Coltrane that is not, and my non-obvious favorite Coltrane. Everybody goes there, Love Supreme, or Giant Steps, or whatever they say. My favorite things. But if I was to choose like any day of the week, my favorite Coltrane that's like a non kind of obvious, I would go for Impressions. I think it is such a deep, heavily layered kind of album. It's superb. It's a live record recorded at the Village Vanguard in 1961 and 1962 and 63 as well, featuring the great, obviously, quartet. I mean, what else do you want to say about this? You've got McCoy Tyner, Reggie Workman, Elvin Jones, Jimmy Garrison plays on the second side, and it's got India here, which is, to me, it's one of the best tracks Coltrane ever recorded, and it's got Eric Dolphy on bass clarinet. I mean, this is just, it's pure joy. This is an excellent record. There's a couple of local releases that are really nice. At least I think so. This is one from a couple of years ago. I think 2000 and I want to say 2020. No, this is 2021. Yeah. Jinmu. Jinmu is two musicians, Ziggy Zeitgeist and Emma Tucheri, and they both hail from here, from Melbourne. He plays the drums. He's in the Zeitgeist Freedom Energy, whatever the name is, of the band, and he's in the JK group, which is a local band as well. And she plays the flute and all sorts of woods and wooden and metal flutes and implements. She plays, yeah, all sorts of different. And Jinmu is I believe Chinese Mandarin for metal and wood. I think so, because the relation between the two is made of, like, drums that are wooden and metal drums, and flutes that are, and you've got a very sort of a spiritual kind of a very meditative kind of journey with, it feels like a Chinese flute record with, with a more sort of modern approach. It's very, contemplative. If you like these records by Tony Scott, for example, you'd probably like this. It's on La Sap, which is one of our local fabulous labels. I've talked about La Sap many times. And here is the newest release by Analog Attic Records, which I talked about in the Melbourne Ambient and Electronic video, if you've watched that. This is the latest release. This is Sean Labroy. And Sean Labroy is half of the duet Albrecht Labroy. I was talking about the Hillsville record, which I think is a masterpiece. This is a beautiful housey, ambient house with jazzy leanings. There's a lot of like sax on there. There's this is mastered by Corey Kikos, who we talked about again in the ambient video. Amazing. Sean Labroy actually is one of the label heads of Analog Attic Recordings, so he puts out his own record and he did a really great job. Okay, I have been spotlighting the great Ramble Records for a while, and here is another one that I would like to speak about because it's an absolutely fantastic record. This is Kigayu. It's the name of the band on the OB, Kigayu, and it's on Ramble. It's been released on multiple labels. You can see Echidelic Rambo, or We Here and Now. This is a collaboration of sorts. Kigayu is a band from Austin, Texas, and their name comes from the drummer Forrest Kigayu is his name, and it's an Afrobeat, Afro-funk band, but from America, and this record is infectious. The first couple of tracks are amazing. No Comment. I urge you to listen to No Comment, the very first track, and you'll see what I mean. This is what you can stream this on, obviously, Bandcamp, on Ramble Records or else. This is a killer record. I just really love this, and this particular version has only 300 copies pressed, which is cool. The one that we have here, the Ramble Records. No, it's an awfully cool record, Afro-funk record from America. Very, very dynamic, very like in your face kind of. Yeah, it's amazing. Speaking of like cool funky records, I revisited my copy of the Harlem Pop Trotters. Now, this is a French funk band. Yes, French and funk in the same sentence. Is that possible? Well, we started a few revolutions, so I think we can play the funk if we have to. The Harlem Pop Trotters, a project of Jean-Claude Pierrick, who I believe is also the person responsible for Godchild, which is also another great kind of, very highly sought after French funk record. And what we got here is like sort of library, kind of funky library music, really hard hitting. The drums are amazing. It's a sublime record. If you've never heard of the Harlem Pop Trotters, is the name of the group. Seacat, it's a great record from 1975, which was originally released on Les Tréteaux, which is a classic French label. Here is a killer UK jazz record, Michael Gibbs, with subtitle from 1970 on Decca. This is an original press. This is a big band jazz record from the UK scene, and the band is amazing. Like it's got Henry Lothar, it's got John Sermon, Alan Skidmore, Mike Osborne, Barbara Thompson, Chris Spedding, Jack Bruce, John Marshall, Tony Oxley. I mean, this is a who's who of the UK jazz scene, basically. Michael Gibbs was originally born, I think, in Zimbabwe, but obviously, this is considered to be a UK jazz classic. Yeah, just if you like big band jazz, just have a listen. It's fantastic. The great John Mayer and Joe Harriet double quintet, the Indo Jazz Fusions. This is the second album. It's again a British jazz record on the Lansdowne series. Very much infused with the spirit of Hindustani music. You've got Joe Harriet on alto sax and John Mayer on violin, but then you've got Diwan Motia who on sitar. You've got you got tambura, you got a tabla, you've got. I mean, it's it's an East meets West record. It's very beautiful, very highly. I mean, it's got this kind of like very beguiling kind of melodies running through the. For example, the flugel, because you got Shay Keen on trumpet and flugelhorn, and the flugelhorn on this is very sort of like to the fore. A very, 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 very nice record. Original Australian press, I think. This very flimsy, but doesn't matter. And since I'm on UK jazz, here is a UK jazz album I've revisited this week. Ill Considered. I think it's the first volume of Ill Considered. They're a trio from, I think they're from London. Actually, this is a 4-piece. Sax, bass, drums, and percussion. I thought they were a trio for some reason. I think maybe Wildflower, their other project, is a trio. Killer, spiritual, modal jazz. Really, like so inventive. Just to say that you think jazz has been done and redone. This I would highly recommend. I was watching. I'm going to finish with a bunch of records that I was inspired to play by Dom and Alex. So Dom, Seeking a Thread, who lives in New York or near New York, and Alex Martinez. Your channel is Motoric, and I can't remember the number, but you know who you are. They did a live stream, which I didn't watch because it was too early for me, but I watched the replay. They were selling some records at auction, and they were showing some records which I had or have, and I thought, well, I haven't played them forever, so I'm going to pull them out. And so, for example, Alex was talking about Lanquidity. I mean, Sun Ra, obviously, and I hadn't played Lanquidity. I mean, it's like when you've got thousands of records on the shelf and you just go, you forget about things. So I played my copy of Tranquility, which is probably my favorite Sun Ra, if I'm going to be honest. It's the one that I would go to the most. You know, amongst, you know, the one that I played the most. And 1978, Philly Jazz. It's just a killer record, you know, like it's a modal jazz, space jazz album, very straight. It's not a really challenging record at all, you know, in the scheme of Sun Ra, but doesn't mean that it's any less good. I think, you know, if you think that Sun Ra has to be challenging, well, and it's got the whole crew, John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, and so the Sun Ra Orchestra play a few years ago. They were amazing. You know, still got it. They were then Dom was talking about Open Sky. Open Sky is a three piece with Dave Liebman, Frank Tusa on bass, and Bob Moses on kalimba. And I love these records. I just forgotten about them entirely. I bought these from the PM label directly, and Gene Perla sent them to me directly, which is cool because he runs the PM label. And you know, again, they're jazz fusion, modal jazz records. Both of them are really, really good. I mean, there's nothing that I wouldn't part with those at this point in time because I really, really like them. I think Spirit in the Sky is probably the one that I would probably go back to the most. But they're very sort of, yeah, they're a jazz trio. They're you know, very fusiony in nature, from the 1975 and 73. Yeah. And finally a couple of clat rock records. I use the term loosely. Dom was trying to part with this record, not this copy here, but his own copy of Popol Vuh's Aguirre, a fabulous, you know, ambient soundtrack to a film which everybody should see. I mean, to me, it's all about the film Aguirre, Wrath of Gods, the great Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski collaboration. I mean, all their movies. Oh my God, Fitzcarraldo, amazing movie. This movie here is so mind-blowing. It's the story of a conquistador who goes in search for El Dorado, obviously in South America, and becomes mad as a result. And it's a journey into lunacy. And the soundtrack of this complements it really, really well. It's really sort of eerie, atmospheric. The first track, Aguirre, with its acoustic guitars, is just it's a lovely, lovely record. So I will keep this myself. It's not for sale, but I recommend that you. It's on the great Cosmic Kosmische Musik label, and last one, Dom was trying to part with his copy of Mythos Motors, which is the German for myth, and I would say this record is a little bit hit and myth. Excuse the pun. It's a psych rock record with lots of flutes, very Jethro Tull-esque in parts, but not quite as good as Jethro Tull. I mean, the first 2 or 3 Jethro Tull records, Stand Up, the very first one, whatever the name is, they're fucking amazing records. I mean, Stand Up is one of the best records of that time period. This is not. It's just okay. 1971 on All Records. It's a cool timepiece from the era, but I mean, I wouldn't. You know, this is not something that I could see myself play very often. Anyway, that's the stack for today. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Comment away or not. Just, you know, and let me know if you want me to do a little live stream here and there. Shall oblige. Take care.